Hi guys, that was a slow start. We are going to take notes for lesson 4.7. All right. This is a vocabulary word you've already had, so you're familiar with it. Partial products. We are going to start solving numbers that are 3 digits times 1 digit. So what you do is you multiply one factor times the ones times the tens place and times the hundreds. It's the same thing we did 2 or 3 lessons ago, where you multiplied one factor times each place value, but we were only talking tens place and ones place. Well, now we've gotten to the hundreds place, and that's not so bad. It's just the next step. All right, so here's an example. 7 times 460. Okay, you've got your definition down, you've got your example down. Hey, these guys are running out of ink. I'm throwing this guy away. So first, I'm going to multiply. Actually, I'm going to start with an area model because that's the way we feel very comfortable. So I'm going to decompose 460 into 400 plus 60, and I don't really need to do this, but I'm going to put plus 0. And you make your rectangle. We're multiplying times 7. That's right. I'm going to make my line here and a line there. I'm going to multiply. First, you're going to multiply 7 times the hundreds place. You get 2,800. Basic facts. Hopefully you know your sevens by now. Then you're going to multiply 7 times the tens place. 7 times 60. Basic fact, 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 60 would be 420. And just because I'm modeling this, I put the 0 there, but you really, really do not need it. Okay, and your final step will be to add. You will add the 2 place values that don't have just a 0. So 2,800 plus 420. Tens place is 2, hundreds place is 12. Regroup. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3,220. Mrs. Laura kind of wants to make sure that she did this right. So as you've learned, there's another way to solve that's not the area model, but it is also the distributive property. So what I'm going to do now is take my factor that's by itself, and I'm going to do the associative here. I'm going to multiply 7 times the hundreds place I'm going. Need a little more color here. So 7 times 400 is written here. We already know the answer. That would be 2,800. Then you're going to multiply 7 times 60. And you write your 7 times 60. Plus 420. And I'm just going to write this so you get used to the distributive property. And we have 7 times 0, which is 0. Okay, final step. You will line up your numbers so that you can add them up without making any mistakes. Perfect. I always feel better after I have solved a math problem 2 different ways. I got the same answer. So using an area model 3,220 and using the distributive property with the parentheses, I got 3,220. It is correct. Basically, we're doing something we already learned, but with bigger numbers. Now, I wanted to bring something up. First step is I'd like you to see another example. No joke. You are now going to have to work with really large numbers. It's going to be in your best interest to know your 9s. The 9s aren't so bad, but when I was a 4th grader, the 8s gave me a little bit of a hard time. I just had a hard time memorizing them. So I want to bring up that you should be studying by writing out your multiples of the difficult ones, 6, 7s, 8s, 9s. You really ought to study them. In case you're studying them and you just haven't memorized them yet, I want to call your attention to, you might have one of these guys lying around, an old name tag from 3rd grade, or some chart like this. Well, when we're talking huge numbers like this, I think that would be a good thing to use. Now, if you don't have one of those lying around, which chances are you don't, maybe you saved your old agenda. And if you are resourceful and you go to the back of the book and you go by subject, you're going to see we have science, we have math, and whoa, yay, my favorite, the multiplication chart. So if you haven't memorized your 6s, 7s, 8s, or 9s, then you should use a resource. And remember that you also have your multiplication chart inside of your math book. Okay, so let's solve this last problem here. And again, I'm going to start with an area model. Whoa, I have to decompose 8,586. So I've got 8,000 plus 500 plus 80 plus 6. Small space for the ones place, a little bit bigger space for my tens place, more room for my hundreds, and then I have my thousands box. My other factor is the number 9. That is the number that's going to get distributed throughout. Okay? Before I solve this, I'm going to use the distributive property with the parentheses. I think I can call it the associative property. Here it goes. 9 times the thousands place is 9 times 8,000. Now I'm going to do 9 times the hundreds place. That's 9 times 500. I'm going to start bumping into this one. Oops. Oh well, I'll make it work. And then we've got 9 times 80. And finally, 9 times 6. Okay, I add them up, and basic fact, 9 times 8. Hopefully you've memorized that and you've gotten 72, and the pattern is that you've got 3 zeros, or the other way to look at it is 9 times 8,000 would be 72,000. Be sure you have the same number of zeros here. That's what they mean by having a pattern. Then we've got 9 times 5. You know your 5s. It's 45. And we've got 2 zeros. The meaning here is 9 times 500. So that's 500 plus 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 500. I had enough fingers. Moving on. 9 times 80. Basic fact. Ooh, I recognize it. I don't have to think so hard. It's 72. And there's only 1 zero. Finally, we have 9 times 6. If you just haven't memorized your 6s, just haven't memorized your 9s, then take a look here and you can look at your 9s and go to 6, and there it is, 54. Well, I really do not feel confident solving this unless I line up my numbers. So I'm going to write 72,000 plus 4,500 plus 720. And I'm going to save this number and add it to the end. 0, 2, 5 plus 7 is 12. Don't forget to regroup. 4 plus 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. And 7 in the 10,000s place makes 77,220. I'm not finished. Can't forget this guy right here. 54. 4, 7, 2, 7, 7. I have an answer of 77,274. Now, if I really need to and I really want to, I recommend that you do check your work by doing the one you're experts at, which is the area model. 9 times 8,000, 9 times 500, 9 times 80, and 9 times 6. Take them, line them up somewhere where you have room, and you should get 77,274. So again, now you're working with hundreds. You're even working with thousands, and all you have to do is what you've already been doing. Decompose your numbers, multiply them. You really ought to distribute one factor to the thousands, to the hundreds, to the tens, and to the ones.